My name's Keith O'Brien. I was born and bred in Bathurst. Originally, when I had my first racing outfit, I had it on display over at the old regional museum over in the pit lane, and I've also had another sidecar that was on display here for quite a while. It was what they call an Irison Yamaha. It was an Isle of Man bike, and after that I had this one on display. Yeah, it was advertised in one of the magazines, Just Bikes magazine, I think. And at the time I wasn't racing, and I was looking for a cheaper form of racing, which I was misled. I was under the impression that it'd be cheaper to race historic bikes, but not really. And this bike popped up in Victoria. And Lindsay Donay, he was a good friend, and he was an ex-speedway sidecar rider, Queensland champion, an engine tuner. He's still building engines to this day at 70 years old. And Lindsay at the time was going to Victoria, and I said, if you think it's worth buying, bring it back, because the trailer was going to come with it as well, and some spares. And he did. He looked at it and he could see potential, and he could actually see more than I could see, because he dropped it off on my front lawn and bolted. He took off. And I came out and had a look at it, and I thought, oh my God. And so after that we proceeded to strip it down and completely alter it. And no one seemed to know much about the history of it. We started a logbook system, or the governing body started a logbook system, and they basically insisted that we come up with a manufacturer for the chassis, and we tracked it down, and we believe, and we gave the guy a look at it, a fellow named Vic Plummer, and he was a Kiwi, and he made quite a few outfits at the time, and he called them a Marina. And we gave him a look at it, and he pretty well said, yes, I'm pretty sure would have been mine, but it's been modified, as most sidecar guys do. As soon as you get a sidecar, you start changing things around. Lindsay Donay, who basically rebuilt it for me, he took it with an angle grinder and just loaded my garbage bins up with scrap steel, basically, and so it was almost from scratch. A lot of fiberglass work went into it, particularly, and of course another engine, another 2 engines I had for it, and wheels. Pretty much, it was not the same bike that we bought, really. Just the actual time taken, to build it, to change the fuel tank, the oil tank, the wheels, the brakes. It just was continuous. Probably one of the main things that we had to do was to make sure it could handle properly, and which it did. And when we first put the chassis together, he put an old Speedway engine in it. It was a Honda 4 Speedway engine that had been around the traps for years, and we just as something to put in it, to take it to Wakefield Park and do some testing, and we ended up blowing that engine up. But we discovered that it handled okay, so then it was time to put the good engine in it. Lindsay built the engine that's in it now. It's been rebuilt, naturally. After every season, you've pretty well got to strip it down and do it again, particularly because it runs on methanol. It's evil stuff. You can't sit on the grid for very long, because you're over the engine and you get your fumes from your carbies and just in general, and your eyes start watering up and stinging really bad. When you pull up on the grid, you just want to get going as quick as you can. So that was just a solid frame. What he'd done was make it so we could lift this bar out, the top tubing out, to get the engine out. Just little things like that makes things quicker. He made that exhaust system himself too. He done fiberglassing himself. I done a little bit of the fiberglassing and repairs, but these ones haven't got an alternator. They're a total loss electric system, so you're relying on your battery when you're out there racing, and it's just to save weight. And it also, so there's no starter motor and there's no alternator on these particular engines. We had to get it spot on where my feet were, because you're kneeling down, you know. And if you don't have that pedal, particularly your brake pedal, in the right spot, you can't, because your ankle, you've only got that much movement, so you've got to have it so that you're sitting ready to hit the brake, you know, without having to feel around for it. And same with your gear shifting, you know, it's a bit of a science getting it all exactly to suit yourself. You know, someone else could jump on it and they wouldn't be able to reach this pedal or that pedal, and so that's all part of it. It's got to be sort of custom made for yourself.